He will leave. If Goodluck Jonathan truly enters the race, we will now have 6 major southern candidates running against one northerner. The only people that Tinubu is afraid of in this election is northern Nigeria. He knows that the south is already done and dusted. Even right now that Goodluck Jonathan has not entered the race, Tinubu is still afraid of northern Nigeria. If they have a way, they will make sure that Atiku is not on the ballot. And if you follow the trend of the last election, Atiku's votes, they purely came from the north. Majority of Atiku's votes came from the north. And even at that, they massively rigged Atiku in the last election. Massively. Go ask around. Ask people that were at the election venues.
You are Nigerians about the cost of fuel, selling at 1,350 plus. Poverty is at a record high, heightened insecurity everywhere. Let's have your thoughts on the state of the nation. Is this government failing?
Yes, you see, the signs were always there, and we kept warning Nigerians about it. When they said they wanted to stop importation of fuel and they wanted to give Dangote a loan, the opportunity for him to be catering for all the fuel needs of Nigerians, many of us cried. People said, oh, we're jealous of Dangote, that we should go and set up our own refinery, that Dangote is a good man, blah, 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 blah. Immediately the issue with Russia, with the US and Iran started. Same day or 2 days later, he hiked cost of oil. And the reason he gave was that because of the war. You can say how unreasonable that can be. This is somebody that buys crude in Naira, produces the fuel in Ibejuleki. The place where he's producing the fuel is free trade zone. He's not paying any tax. Just ripping off the country. Ripping off the country. This is capitalism to the extreme. There can be no justification that something that is here, the manpower is here. Nigeria has one of the cheapest labor in the world. So how did he arrive at 1,300 and something, 1,004? Nigerians should be asking the right questions, but Nigerians are not asking the right questions. And the government, because any society where people are not allowed to freely compete economically, even our constitution is very explicit and clear on this, that at no material time must anybody be given economic power above others. It's in chapter 2 of our constitution. But Dangote has been given the unfair, unnecessary advantage. The only reason for this is that you will now say that maybe because we have an Emilocon president, Dangote is also his own Emilocon for his own economic benefits. Because you can't justify it. If fuel from Argentina, from abroad, importing is cheaper than fuel that is produced in Ibejuleki, then we have a fundamental problem at our hands. And we need to ask questions. So our criticism of the bastardization of our economy is not based on because of hate for anyone. It's because of national interest. Because we are directly and indirectly affected by the indices, the economic indices. And you know that Nigeria is a consumer nation. Almost everything we use is inclined on fuel because we do not produce anything. The cost of even transporting crops from the farm to the city, from the hinterlands, they are determined by price of fuel. So these are the issues that there is no justification for the hike in petroleum products, considering the fact that the critical sector of the refinery, the local refinery in Ibejuleki, the critical sectors are dominant in Nigeria. The issues around productions are here in Nigeria. So if people in the neighboring countries pay for more, Nigerians should not pay for more. Nigerians should not be at the receiving end of Dangote paying back his loan, the loan that he took to build the refinery. And if it is not for greed, he can still sell fuel. I have said it time and time again that Dangote can sell fuel at 700 naira, and I've done the arithmetic that he can sell fuel at 700 naira and still make so much profit and still be able to pay his debts.
But there are those who argue that Nigeria sells the cheapest fuel within the West African sub-region. What's the argument on that?
Yes, so if you look at our income per capita, and if you look at the revenue that the citizens generate, for instance, go to Accra, go and see the minimum wage in Accra. What can the minimum wage in Accra buy? then what can the minimum wage in Nigeria buy? The minimum wage in Nigeria, can it fill up the tank of a car? It certainly cannot. So what many of these people that tell half truths do is that they tell half truths that favor their narrative, favor their selfish interest. If you want to discuss the economics of any nation, you must put into consideration all the vital indices that determine the scale for citizens to live, thrive, and survive. The reasons why Nigerians are struggling and can hardly thrive and survive is because in fact, the West African CFA is now almost 3 times as strong as the Naira. The Naira is at its weakest since independence. And so our currency can simply not buy anything. Our currency can simply not buy anything again.
All right, let's look at, do we blame Dangote? Dangote is a businessman, how to make profit. We have 4 refineries. None of them is working. So, should he not take advantage of the situation?
Yes, you see, I have said it again before that, government has no business doing business in Nigeria. The refineries are not working and they will never work. The turnaround maintenance thing in the refinery is just an opportunity to create money and get money for the boys. This has been happening since God knows when, since the time of Abacha, and nothing is going to change. Yes, I believe that the idea of Dangote doing business is to make money, but that is where government comes in. Government is not there as an unbiased onlooker. Government is a regulator. Look at what Dangote has done in the oil and gas sector. Here, he not only has he formed a cabal, now that he just joined the oil sector and he has become the main cabal leader in the sector. And why am I saying this? Look at what he did with the Farouk man that was removed. Ahmed Farouk that was removed. That agency is a regulator. Not only did Dangote remove him, the person that Bola Ahmed Tinubu appointed now is a Dangote boy. Used to be in the Dangote in the Dangote group of companies. Used to be one of Dangote's aides. Have you ever seen a situation where Cristiano Ronaldo is playing a match and Cristiano Ronaldo is now given the opportunity for him to appoint the referee to referee the match? So, and that is why we see all this decay in the sector. And who suffers the most? It is the citizens, it is the people that suffer. Because when a regulator is now someone who is appointed by a major player in the sector, then what you see is what Nigeria are currently witnessing. So you cannot excuse the government. The government is to blame for the excesses of businessmen and business people like Aliko. Because when there is no strong critical, even in small Ghana here, you cannot see this kind of thing happen in Ghana, where a major player will be the one to determine who is a regulator of his sector that he's actively participating in. It should never happen. So, and this is the reason why investors will never come here. Because this is not a just society. Even in animal farm will do better than this. You cannot run a society like this. You cannot run an economy like this and expect anything progressive to happen. A situation where the indices of economic advancement and development is tailored towards an individual. It's not tailored towards the betterment of the nation. It's not tailored towards the betterment of the citizenry. It's not tailored towards productive sectors of the economy. It's tailored towards one individual. If you get all these advantages that Aliko is getting, year in, year out, you are going to become Africa's richest man. Year in, year out. You don't even need any ingenuity to be Africa's richest man. Because the system is rigged to favor you. So that is why Nigerians are on the receiving end.
All right, let's move on. The military have faced a serious coordinated attack since the beginning of this year in their bases.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, the military is now on the defensive.
Yes.
How did we get to this situation?
So we got to this unfortunate situation because monies budgeted for security were being stolen by the generals. Monies were allocated to buy equipment for the Nigerian Army, for the Nigerian Air Force, for the Nigerian Navy, but generals stole the money.
How do you mean?
Look at many generals have been on trial for corruption. The EFCC itself has come out to say majority of the estates in Abuja are owned by ex and serving generals. The EFCC has said so. And look at, from all the probes that we have witnessed about corruption in the war against corruption, in the war against insecurity, is because of lack of punishment for bad behavior. Because if one or two or three persons had been severely punished, I believe that this corruption in the fight against insecurity will have been minimized, even if it had not been eradicated completely. And let me give you an example. Look at the Northeast, which is the hotbed of insecurity in the country. Typically, ordinarily, a brigade is supposed to have 86 APC, that is Armored Personnel Carrier Brigade. And there's supposed to be 3 or 4 brigades in a battalion. The entire Northeast does not have 86 APCs. The entire, go and verify, fact check me. Ask, we have classmates who are commanding officers in the field in the Northeast. So what they have is a situation where they will now improvise all these soft vehicles like Hiluxes. They will not make the Hilux armored or half armored. They will now give it to a commanding officer that he should lead troops. He should lead troops to go and fight Boko Haram. So you will now find, look at these special forces soldiers that were trained in Russia, Belarus, our finest, killed in the front line by a bullet from a pistol by Boko Haram. Look at the amount of resources that Nigeria used to train those soldiers. But because you refuse, in fact, sir, fact check me again, the entire Northeast does not have 45 APCs. The entire Northeast. How can you defeat insurgency and terrorism when the soldiers are ill-equipped, not properly motivated, not properly funded? Look at even some of these soldiers that are now facing trial at the General Court Martial on the alleged coup. Many of those soldiers, those are commanding officers of many of the hotbeds in the Northeast. Since they were arrested and detained for about 8 months to 9 months now, many of their positions have been overrun by Boko Haram. Immediately they were arrested and withdrawn from the field. What is government doing to end insecurity in Nigeria? Ours is a nation where before the hotbed of insecurity was the Northeast. Now it is almost nationwide. Look at what is happening in Zamfara. They are mining gold. They are selling gold on the main road, express road in Zamfara. And government is not worried. Government is not concerned. How can insecurity ever end? And the principal actors in this trade are known to government. The government is not willing. Government is unable. Government fails to do anything.
Why do you think government is unwilling or do not have the political will to go after even the ones that UAE gave us their names?
Yes. So what I think is, I'm inclined to agree with General Adeyanju that they collude with the armed bandits to kill innocent Nigerians. I believe that insecurity has become one of the most lucrative business in Nigeria. And if you look at that Kogi State general that was killed, General Ali, I think so, they said many things. He was warned severally to stop trying to crush Boko Haram.
That's Colonel Ali?
Yes. That he was warned severally because that was someone that was really after eradicating Boko Haram. But they took him out. Because some people are somewhere making so much money with insecurity in the country. And I believe that government is complicit. Because if there is no way you can tell me that government is not complicit when they are selling gold on the main road in Zamfara. It's impossible. They look at the way these terrorists move freely, unchallenged all over the country. You cannot tell me this is a government that has army, air force, navy, ground troops, many divisions, prison. And you tell me we have one of the best trained army in the world. One of the best trained. Nigerian soldiers have gone all over the world and have excelled at ground battles. and you tell me that we cannot defeat these people? I refuse to believe same.
Let's look at what's happening in your state. We celebrated Children's Day 2 days ago, and we know that over 30 children are still in captivity, some of them as young as 2 years, 3 years. Government is not bold enough to say this is what we want to do. Do you think, even though government keeps arguing about it, they don't pay ransom, but experiences have shown we will see these people release the people, we don't get to arrest anybody, we don't get to kill anybody. How do they release these people? Is it that we are truly paying ransom? And are you worried about this or your incident?
Yeah, of course. One of the victims, the teacher who was unfortunately beheaded, is our client. We're briefed by the family. We are constantly in touch with the family. We grieve with them. We mourn his passing. Unfortunately, and most regrettably, is that the family have not even been given the opportunity for them to bury their dead. You know, we had written to the president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to personally intervene in the matter, not to delegate this matter. A president should act like his president. Should not sit in the comfort of his office, of the villa. Should leave the villa when there are problems like this and go to the battlefront. We have seen presidents all over the world do this. This is what is expected of a commander-in-chief. If not, you are not commanding anything. Even the governor of Oyo has refused to lead from the front. Even the 30 that you said is understated. You can be rest assured that more than hundreds of children will be in custody of terrorists and criminal gangs all across the country, because many of these incidents are unreported. Many. The only reason why the Oyo incident was reported was because the terrorists posted it online. There are so many others that ransom are just collected from the families and they are set at freed. And there are others that could not pay. We have just discovered that another teacher was killed in the north, who even after ransom was paid, he was killed. So it shows that there is no credible government in place in the country. And it's indeed very sad. Government must not only speak to condemn violent acts. Government must be seen to be proactive, to go after those who are perpetrating these violent acts and bring them to book. That is the only way that the citizens will feel safe. Most Nigerians can no longer even travel by road. That is how bad it is. Two of the greatest fear of every Nigerian today is to be kidnapped. The second is to be gunned down by the police. These are two of the greatest fears of every Nigerian. We just saw recently how a Nigerian who had been handcuffed, who was pleading his innocence in Delta, was shot at close range by the police. Then another police officer had just threatened in a viral video that if anybody records him, he's going to shoot and kill the person. So these are the two greatest fears of every Nigerian. Number one, that may they not be kidnapped. So when Nigerians make that prayer, that may Nigeria not happen to you, these are the things that Nigerians are praying against. That may they not be victims of kidnap, and may they not be gunned down by the